Hey guys, I'm Papa Pete, and I'm back today to do another video, a top 5 video, for my favorite sports games. But I'm going to make it a little bit more specific than that. Lots of people have done their favorite sports games. I've watched lots of different people who maybe weren't as into sports as I was when I started playing games when I played games in the 90s and 2000s. Some of my favorite games were sports games. So what I'm going to share is I'm going to share to you 2 different top 5 lists, with the distinction being top 5 simulation games as well as the top 5 arcade games in a video to come later. Anyway guys, let's start it off right here with my personal picks for top 5 simulation sports games. Here we go.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Before we start, I'd like to introduce everyone to IntellivisionCollector.com, your one-stop shop for all of your Intellivision collecting needs. From learning the basics and starting your collection to high-end and rare games and variants, Luke at Intellivision Collector has something for everyone who loves Intellivision. That's IntellivisionCollector.com. Okay, so first of all, remember, these are my personal picks. I'm not trying to tell you that these are the absolute best simulation sports games there are, but I'm coming at it from a little bit different angle. I played a lot of games through the 90s growing up through, and what I look at for it to be a simulation sports game is a game that really tries to replicate the actual sport. Teams, in a way, it doesn't really have to be professional teams. All games of a certain sport aren't necessarily professional, but a lot of them do tend to be because the licensing makes them sell much more. But the way the game plays, the number of players, the rules of the game, are there flagrant rules that are not followed in these games? If that's the case, it's probably not a simulation game. It's going to be an arcade game. So let's start it off with one that dates way back when I first got it in 1993, and that is Bulls versus Lakers in the NBA playoffs. I really enjoyed this game. It was pure, true 5-on-5 basketball, and you got to use the actual players, which was a bonus from the NBA. Got to play your favorite teams. This was actually, I believe, the second game in this series. I think there was a Lakers versus Celtics, and then there's actually a Blazers versus Lakers, which I have upstairs. Maybe it's Bulls versus Blazers. Anyway, not important. This is the first one I had, Bulls versus Lakers and the NBA playoffs. I really enjoyed the game. Yes, you could dunk. Yes, you could take 3-pointers. And the numbers, the statistics really weren't that far off. It was a lot of fun to play. So if you haven't played that game, it's going to take you a little while to develop the tricks. It's not just a matter of running back and forth scoring. You have to make some good plays, just like in the real NBA, to score some baskets. So that's number 5. Now, number 4 is a game that I had for the original Xbox not long after I got it, around 2006, and that is MVP Baseball 2005. Alright, so Manny Ramirez on the cover. I loved Manny Ramirez. Manny being Manny. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan, and he was just such a character. It's the only game I remember of him being on the cover, and that's really what drew to me at first. But later on, I come to find out it was a really, really fun game to play back at that time. And I found out later that of all the different MVP baseball games, or even baseball games on that system, this is one of the most highly respected. The baseball was great. You could make your own players. You could play seasons. It was just so much fun. And one thing I really, really liked about this game, which has nothing to do with the simulation, but the music. The music in this game is excellent. There's songs that I heard of, or first heard in this game, Dropkick Murphys' Tessie, Brave Mistake, stuff like that, which I had never heard before, and I still listen to this day. I use them actually when I do sound for different sports teams. I'll use those songs because they're really, really great nostalgic songs, and they really are upbeat, and they're perfect for a sports game. Anyway, as far as baseball games go, great simulation. Really enjoyed this one a lot. MVP Baseball 2005. Now the next game, I'm going to show you 2 different games, 2 versions of it, because I played both quite a bit. It may be a bit controversial because you might say, oh, it's not totally realistic, because no, there's a lot of things about it that aren't. But for this particular game, I really did think it was quite realistic. Went by the right scores, had real players. You could do different shots. I really enjoyed Virtua Tennis. And also the Sega Tennis 2K2. I always get it mixed up thinking it's Virtua Tennis 2K2. It's not. It's just Sega Tennis 2K2. Virtua Tennis is where it all started. It is, yes, it is quite arcadey. I don't know if you could have the sweat and the determination of a tennis game in a real cart, but it does have the regular gameplay. It does depict it very realistically with actual real tennis stars, which is great. I really like that one because the women's game is better than the men's game as far as I'm concerned. And, well, I don't know. This is one of my absolute favorite games when I had the Dreamcast back then, and I just simply love it today. So I'm going to put, at number 3, Virtua Tennis for the Dreamcast. And now my second favorite sports simulation game. I don't know why, I just played this game a ton. I really liked it. It's a long string of games. Madden 09. I don't really know why this was the one I found that I liked so much. This is the Xbox 360 version. I got it back right after I got my Xbox 360. It was probably in 08. Well, it would have been 08 or 09 when it came out. Probably 08 it came out. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it really depicted the players well. You could make it work. You could pick all the plays you wanted. In this one, you have real teams, real fields, 11 players per side. I mean, everything about it's realistic. Almost to a fault, because sometimes it's very, very difficult to get into. That's why so many people really prefer the arcade games. But at the end of the day, it did the best it could with the technology it had at the time in 2009 to make a great, fun playing simulation football game. Madden 2009.
Honorable mentions.
And now for some honorable mentions, because it's really hard to limit this down. These are games I love to play, but they just didn't quite crack my top 5. And the first one's going to be NBA 2K. NBA 2K1 was great too for the Sega Dreamcast. This was the first game of this style. They're all like this now. That was just so much fun. I really enjoyed this game. You could create your own players in the Dreamcast, and I just found it to be a really solid game. NBA 2K. If you haven't had a chance to play that one, try it out. It's worth playing today. And another one that's, again, kind of controversial maybe, is RBI Baseball. The original RBI Baseball come in after they had Major League Baseball for the NES, which is an absolutely horrible game, and then they come out with RBI Baseball, and it was just so much fun. I'm going to call it a simulation because it was full innings, you had full lineups, batters hit the way they should. Was it arcadey? Well, yes, it was arcadey because in 1984, 85, 86, whatever it came out, that was a limitation of the system, but their attempt at that time was to make it as realistic as possible, and I thought they did a pretty damn good job. So RBI Baseball by Tengen. Fabulous, fabulous game. Good honorable mention. Now the last honorable mention, you got to remember, it's simulation, but you got to think about the era it came out in. And I can't leave these all off the list, okay? What I have, and this is actually the Sears version, but Major League Baseball for the Intellivision. And its follow-up even, the World Championship Baseball. They just tweaked a few other things to make it more realistic, added a few things to the game. Not arcade things, leading off, running over the bases, one player too, which was a big part of it. But this game right here, in 1979 when they made it, the goal of the game was to be as realistic as possible. And I thought they did a fine job. At that time, we just couldn't believe how realistic it was. You look at it today, you think, well, it's not even remotely realistic. But remember, this was 1979, 1980, and at that time, it absolutely was. And now finally, for my number 1 favorite sports simulation title of all time. It is, a little controversial maybe, NHL 94 for the Sega Genesis, EA Sports. And I know what you're thinking. There's been many, many more hockey games since, which are more realistic looking, incorporate more aspects of the gameplay into it. But at the time, this was groundbreaking. They started off with NHL hockey, then they had NHLPA 93, and finally they got the whole meal deal with NHL 94, and at the same time they tweaked the gameplay to make it as best as possible. You could control the goalie, there were offsides, icings, penalties. It was just the whole meal deal. And this game right here, people still love it today, and there's a reason for that, because it was groundbreaking. And this was when I was playing the most games as a young adult. I was about 23, 24 when I first got this game, and believe me, I played a few seasons. Anyway, guys, my top sports simulation title favorite of all time, NHL 94 by EA Sports. Alright guys, that's it for my top 5 favorite sports simulation games. Come back again because I'm going to be doing a top 5 of the arcade sports games, my absolute favorites of those. But in the meantime, I'm very happy. I always love playing any of these games. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown
What's up guys, Russ Lyman here, and you're watching Papa Pete, the Old Guy Gamer.